We just talked about the two-strokes, and now we're going to move in to talk about four-stroke engines. The four-stroke engines are a little more complicated. Connected to the crankshaft is what's called a camshaft. Some of the engines, like the airplane engines, the way they are connected is with gears. What I call gears are these pieces of metal that have teeth. They mesh into each other. Sprockets are what chains ride on. So some of these engines will use gears to connect the crankshaft to the camshaft. Some will use a chain and sprockets. The way this one's built with the cam being up on the double cams here, being up on top, it's going to have a chain. Okay, so it doesn't show it on here, but there'd be a chain that would come up on a sprocket on the crankshaft. It would come up like this. Actually, this one would have two of them. Probably has two of them that go like this, one here and one here, to turn what are called the camshafts. These are the camshafts. Again, the cam comes from this thing that looks like an egg. Notice how much bigger here. And notice when it turns, it'll push down on, this is normally called a tappet, and it pushes down on the tappet, and there's a spring. They don't show up, there's a spring in here so that the valve can return. But when it turns, it'll push this and open up the valve, and that's what, when the piston moves down and creates the low pressure, the gas and the air will come in here. Again, one of the differences between the two-stroke and the four-stroke, notice the yellow down here, that's to represent oil. So the four-stroke engines have an oil reservoir somewhere. Some of them have a dry sump. Some have the oil sits in the crankcase here, and some splash the oil, like the Briggs & Strattons. They splash the oil to lubricate things in here. Others have pumps. They actually have a pump that's pumping the oil, different places in the engine to keep things lubricated. Remember, the goal here with the lubrication is to keep the metal from rubbing on the metal, because if you have metal rubbing on metal, it's going to get hot really fast and it's going to weld itself to each other. And that's bad. That's when you got to rebuild things. So again, the cam is turning and it's pushing and opening the valve. Here's the intake valve, here's the exhaust valve. So when the piston moves down, creates a low pressure, the atmospheric pressure now becomes the high pressure, and it's forcing its way, usually through the carburetor, picks up the gas, and into the combustion chamber. Science never sucks. It's all about pressure difference. Notice the numbers changing here. One of the things that was fun is some of the folks I worked with in town here, they talk about suck, squeeze, bang, blow. That's the that's the funny term of how this thing is working, and it helps to remember it that way. Suck, squeeze, bang, blow. Intake, compression, power, exhaust. Intake, compression, power, exhaust. Those are the four strokes. This has been a brief overview of the four-stroke engines. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for watching.